Today's March 29th, 2019, and this is episode 87 of PlaneSavers. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. I'm excited. This episode's going to be pretty cool. Jamie and her mom, Tammy's coming in. We're going to look at her father's Lancaster logbooks. He was a tail gunner. That noise you hear is a twin otter, and while I'm looking off in the distance, Airtindy twin otter enhancing the audio. Amazing how short those things can land, actually. We got a bunch of stuff today. Hopefully you'll stick around with us and watch us. I do have a big announcement too. Benoit, you know Benoit, the historian of the project, the guy who knows everything, is sharing his knowledge. He's released a Kickstarter campaign for volumes of books about all Buffalo Airways D-Day machines. And so I'm going to actually look at this sundog. You guys see that? That's crazy. That's crazy. I gotta find and get a picture of that. So yeah, Benoit's got a Kickstarter campaign for the D-Day birds. It's hard to explain. I'll try to do a little bit maybe better at the end of the episode. But he is putting all his knowledge down in the books. This is going to be the must-have books that describe everything about DTD, ROD, and WZS. Our 3 D-Day birds are going into a book. I'm excited for the project. I'm excited because it goes down to the people, the dates, everything, every information that is currently available, and he's double checking his facts and everything. Yeah, you can tell I'm excited. But now I'm gonna try to get a good picture of that sundog. Look at that, that's crazy. While I'm waiting for Jamie's mom to come in, I'm gonna send you off to Bobby in Montreal, who is restoring a Tudor. Yes, one of the aircraft the snowbirds use. Check this out, very, very cool video.
Hello, Mikey. My name is Bobby from Montreal, and this is my episode of PlaneSavers. Thank you for doing whatever you're doing for the PlaneSaver community and bringing everybody together and giving us a chance and a place to showcase our different projects. I have a project I'm working on here in Montreal. It is a CL-41 Tudor jet, built in Canadair in 1965, and served most of its life out west, training pilots from all over the country. And I thought I should bring it back to Montreal where it was born, rather than having it end up on the scrap heap somewhere. I couldn't handle that. Here she is, sitting on her transport dolly that we built. And believe it or not, this thing fit with an inch to spare on all sides in one of those discount trucks. Fairly complete. The Air Force fellows did a really good job preserving it. Got all the cockpits there except the instruments, and I think of course the ejection seats have been safetied. I am missing the engine. They've kept all the engines for the snowbirds, unfortunately. So it's either J85 from the States, or I wait until they retire the snowbirds, in which case I will be dead or too old to actually do anything here. Such is life. These are the wings on their transport dolly. Fairly good condition. They got a couple of dents here and there. That's to be expected. The tail plane and the aft fuselage. So we're going to restore this and get it running again. And we're going to write a book on the engineering aspects, the design and the build and operation of the CL-41A. And it's a beautiful little aircraft, and I think she should be preserved. So if anyone wants to help me with this, if you have any materials and you worked at Canadair, any drawings, microfilms, parts lying around, obviously an engine I'm going to have to source somewhere. But I'm looking for any technical drawings, technical manuals, if you have anything. I do have the books. I have the parts catalog. I have the service books for it, and I have the log books. But I'm looking for Canadair-specific documents on the build of this. Build sheets, pictures. Pictures would be great to help me when I disassemble and reassemble, and cleaning, inspection, repair, that kind of stuff. So if you have anything, send it to CL41A restoration@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from you. Any stories to include in my book from people that maintain these, the technicians, the people that built them, obviously the people that learned to fly in them. I'd like to read some of those stories. I include them in the book. I haven't seen a lot of stuff like that. All right, thanks again, Mikey. I appreciate all your work on this. Bye for now.
Wow, that's amazing. Here, I'll try to walk backwards almost, see if you guys can see it. But yeah, so yeah, hope you liked that video from Bobby in Montreal. I'm definitely going to have to go check out that aircraft. Very cool. It reminds me of the one we saw in the Reynolds Museum with the Starfighter nose. Very, very cool. If anybody knows if any of those are for sale, let me know. That'd be a very cool bird. Maybe on a future season of PlaneSavers, you never know. Because I know a lot of the pilots, all the snowbird pilots, a lot of them are buddies of mine, and so I could probably pretty easy to find some pilots. But yeah, anyway, again, I'm rambling. So I'm going to go inside, start planning tomorrow's episode a bit, do some Buffalo Airways work, and wait for Jamie's mom to show up. So hopefully we'll see you soon. Okay, everybody, we are in the boardroom. We got Tammy, Jamie, and Rod. Rod doesn't know what's going on. He just got back from Red Deer. Rod, how's Uncle Ronnie doing in Red Deer?
Oh, he's doing pretty good. We just finished doing some stuff yesterday to get ready to load the C-Can. Finished off some carb installs and found some historic data for the engines. So we should be loading the C-Can today.
Cool. So Tammy brought, check this out. I'll show Rod here. This is Jamie's great-grandfather, Tammy's grandfather. He was a tail gunner in a Lancaster World War II.
My father, Barry McDonald, he actually had the logbooks, and unfortunately his father, who is George Joseph McDonald, he passed away when my father was around 13. So I just saw them probably around maybe 1985 or 1990, and just looking back at history, which was kind of neat.
Is that the first time you kind of discovered the history of it?
No, I actually, we discovered it a little bit more when Jamie was doing a history project for high school, and she wanted to do it on her great-grandfather.
It was a granddad project back in my hometown of Etobicoke. It's right around Remembrance Day, and so with that we wanted to, our teachers had asked us to find any Canadian soldier and find out about their lives that would be pre and during and post-war. And so I said, well, I have a great-grandfather that I knew about, but I didn't actually know too much about, but I am now intrigued by this, so was I able to do it on him? And she said, yeah, you were able to do it. So my grandfather, he pulled out the logbooks, and I talked with my grandfather and my aunt, and I found out all these information about my great-grandfather, and unfortunately I was never able to meet him, but doing the project just made me realize how different life was, and looking at all the black and white photos, and I did this little slideshow of a scrapbook to him, and it was just really amazing to see everything that he did for, you know, as my mom said, Canada essentially as a country to help win the war.
He left his family, but he was doing something he really enjoyed, and he just kept flying and was the rear air gunner in the Lancaster bomber, which is pretty neat.
As a lot of you viewers know, I fly the DC-3 and the C-46 for Buffalo, and it wasn't until a few years after the actual presentation. I mean, my post-secondary education, I went to university to become a teacher, and I was given a intro to flight coupon a couple years prior, but because I was in high school and I was really busy, I wasn't able to use it. And after I did the first flight, that's when I kind of got thinking, and I went back and I looked at the logbooks, and I said, wow, this would be really cool. And I really started to learn what the Lancaster was, and conveniently, where I live in Etobicoke, about 50 minutes to the west is town Hamilton or Ancaster, and there you can actually find the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum. And that holds a special place in my heart because that is one of two places in the world that has an active flying airworthy Lancaster. And every time pilots, what happened is to become certified to fly an airplane, we need to do 2 portions. So we have to do a written exam and a flight test. And so every time I would do the written exam, I'd go to the Hamilton location. And then once I succeeded in the exam, I'd go check out the Lancaster, and that would make me feel like a part of me was with my great-grandfather, because I never got to meet him. But that's when it really inspired me, was when I first started flying. And then as time went on, I got more interested in the warbirds. I'd always kind of liked the radial engines. I mean, that's a sound you just can't quite duplicate in today's modern world. I got excited about the DC-3s and the C-46s, and I figured, you know, flying up here would be a great way to possibly pursue my dream of flying the Lancaster, and that's what I would like to do one day.
Hopefully some people from the museum are watching.
I have an idea with that. We convinced the Calgary Museum to let us put the Lancaster back into flight-worthy condition. It flew in there.
So both logbooks are identical, except, Tammy, why is this one burnt here?
It was something to do with a crash that took place, and there was some fire apparently, and it got charred. And I mean, it's a pretty old book, but it's so neat and sacred to be able to hold a piece of history and know that my grandfather did such an incredible job for Canada. And it's not something that we should take for granted, because we are here today because of these efforts of the RCAF, the military, soldiers, army. I mean, we're just very fortunate to be on the land of Canada and have such a good way of life. This book here is for the air crew other than the pilot, so it's the flying logbook of this one. The one that Rod is looking at is more for the, it's a breakdown of navigators, air bombers, air gunners, and flight engineers. They're very identical with regards to the descriptive of the aircraft type, the date, where he flew, and time. And Rod was actually just looking through where there's
Why don't you read
some here.
December 3rd, 1944.
So it says December 3rd, 1944, 0730. Aircraft type is a P, which I'm not actually familiar what the P means, and maybe you viewers might know and be able to help us out there. That would be great. Flight Officer Carson was the pilot, the rear air gunner. Now it's Operation 10 in Heimbach Dam Busting.
The dam busting run.
So dam busting run. 4 hours and 55 minutes. Hopefully I'm reading this correctly. I don't know. I'm not a pilot. But if anybody has some insight onto any of this type of recordings here, that would be great if you could let Mikey know, because it would be even interesting for our family, the McDonald family, to learn a little bit more, since unfortunately my great-grandfather's no longer here today. But we thank him and everybody out there who's helped make Canada what it is today.
Okay, folks, so this is the point where I want to show you guys the logbooks, and you guys can help me out in the comments. We got the flying logbook for aircrew other than pilots. Then we got the flying logbook for navigators, air bombers, air gunners, and flight engineers. They're almost identical. The one difference is this book goes to their Operation 25, which I believe is like Mission 25. And this one goes past 25, and it goes right to 36, and is signed off on the next page. This is to certify that Flight Sergeant McDonald R266238 has completed 36 sorties on his first tour of operation at 166 Squadron, Kermonton, Lincolnshire. You guys know I can't pronounce anything properly. So with a total of 68 hours day, 204 hours night, for a total of 272 hours total. So yesterday when I was looking at these books, I called probably one of the most handsomest guys in all of Canadian aviation, Craig Brookhouse, my buddy. He's a flight engineer on the Lancaster in Hamilton, and he informed me that the Americans, I believe, did 25 missions on their B-17, say, and they went home. The RAF, the Royal Air Force, went to 36, And you can see McDonald here went all the way to 36. But there's some interesting stuff here. The most thing that jumps out to me is you can see all the towns are all German. So I'm going to give you guys just a clean shot of the missions so you guys can take a look. So you see we got number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and an 8. Look at this. So this was put in after the fact. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, and here on Operation 16, there was a crash.
Board of crash.
So this is where this damage came from on this logbook.
Believe so, yeah.
Believe so. And it didn't stop them much. Because this is 2 days before Christmas Eve, 1944, and January 5th, 45, just the same amount of days off anyone gets. He's right back at it. And you can see Operation 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So it's even hard for me to even number those out. Imagine going through each of those missions.
Basically, if you just read through that logbook, just open it up casually on the first mission. So he had to do 36 missions successfully, or none of us would be here right now. Like Jamie, we wouldn't be talking about this. That logbook wouldn't exist.
It's true.
So each one of those was a huge risk that, I mean, we have to appreciate as our country and as aviators that this is what set the stage. Without these situations, we wouldn't be doing this.
Now, Craig told me that the life expectancy of a tail gunner on the Lancaster was 3 missions. So he said this is insanely rare to have a tail gunner go through all those missions. So what's your thoughts when you heard about that, Tammy?
I actually wanted to cry because it made me feel so proud.
Mm-hmm.
And it also made me feel proud that Jamie's doing what she's doing and fulfilling her dreams. And she's taken a piece of history, the McDonald family, and flying on. And Buffalo Airways has provided that opportunity to allow Jamie to fly these planes that hopefully one day she will be able to fly a Lancaster bomber. And all I have to say is you wouldn't have known this if we didn't have PlaneSavers.
Jamie, what's your thoughts on that when you heard Craig say that it's insanely rare?
I won't lie. I was, as you can see right now, I have this little grin on my face, and that was the exact thing as I was hearing him say that. Just went, it was pretty cool. I wish I got to meet him. Unfortunately, I didn't, but knowing that and knowing just how strong of a man he was during these difficult times, he essentially actually passed away from injuries from war, from that abortive crash. So for me to know that he went back at it, it's something that my grandfather always said to me. He says, if you don't succeed, just try again. And obviously his dad told him that, and he passed that on to me, and that's what I do all the time when times get tough. And it was pretty cool, definitely pretty cool to know.
So Tammy, can you tell me a little bit more about the crash? What did you know what happened, and then how did it affect his life after?
So what I heard was that a crash took place, and his head, he smashed his head on the turret. And from there, he must have suffered a concussion because he eventually got a tumor. And the doctors had said, and this was years later, I believe, the doctors had said that he won't last more than 6 months, and he lasted 10 years. Now, his quality of life deteriorated a lot, and my father, Barry McDonald, and he grew up without a father after, so many years. He died when my father was 13, so 10 years of that, my father was young, and he missed his father as anybody would, and but he taught us to, as Jamie says, you keep going and you try to succeed in life and think positively, and just know that your roots, there's always something in somebody's family that can help you keep going on with your day. And again, just always be positive out there.
The one question we had, and I asked Craig, and he wasn't too sure, so I want to make sure, and this is thrown back to the community, so this is where you guys can help out, because it is like a give and take. I give you guys information, you give me 10 times more information back. So here on the aircraft type, it says aircraft type, we know it's a Lancaster, but it just has a single letter, and you can see it says MLC squared Y F squared, and then that's the same kind of thing. It goes out through the whole one. You can see all the different ones. So my question is to the community. Obviously these are most likely the numbers that are on side of the airplane, the red numbers. But which one is it? And is the C squared meaning that there was more than one J? Just let me know. I know definitely there's people already writing in the comments right now with the answer. So I just wanted to clarify that. That's very cool. And any tidbits because you can watch the video, you can pause it, you can look through it. I try to film most of the pages, like the dam busting here, Operation 10 or Mission 10, Hindenburg dam busting, and that was December 3rd, 44. What does this mean? What was this mission? And because this is definitely very German. This is like right in the thick of things. There's probably ME-109s or BF-109s everywhere on here. Just let me know what this stuff means.
Air to air.
Air to air.
Air to air. What does that mean?
Yeah, like we got cross country, air to air. Yeah. Please let us know. The family, Jamie and Tammy's family, would just love to know what all this means. Like Flight Lieutenant Carson. The 116, the 166 squadron, all that fun stuff. Please let us know, because this is very cool. And the value of these books, like I know the sentimental value is priceless, but like the monetary value of these things too. Like I just did a quick research. Like these books go for thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's just such a rare thing. For collectors, not only a collector, but to have the family have it, which is absolutely amazing, and then to have both books, which is so cool. So thank you, Tammy, for bringing that in all the way from
Thank you, Mikey. Thank
Ontario.
you, Rod. Thank you.
Who do you want to say hello to back home?
I really want to say hi to my mom, Jacinta, Jessie.
Yes.
And thank you for everybody, and my brother, and Rich and Randy, and just everybody, my aunts and uncles. Everybody's been very supportive, and everybody's been watching PlaneSavers, and we want to thank you for providing the opportunity for viewers to watch this show and learn.
Jamie, anyone you want to thank or shout out to anybody?
I do want to make a shout out. He's not here, unfortunately. My grandfather, he was with me for the most part of everything. He passed away 2 years ago, but he was my biggest supporter, I think, maybe even more than my mom. He was a big part of my life, so I'd like to shout out to you up there, big guy. But all my family, friends, you know who you are. Brampton Flight Center, where I did all my flight training from. They were great. They gave me all the training essentials to come here, and just Buffalo and all the great captains and first officers that I've been working with here, and I mean even the mechanics. They're just it's a team effort, and yeah, thanks.
Thank you, and I'd like to take time to thank the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum, especially Craig. You're a rock star. I know I phone you at least once a month with Lancaster questions, so thank you for taking the call yesterday.
I'll be seeing you when I'm in Toronto next week.
So anybody at the museum, Jamie's going to be there. Maybe give her a little extra special time to show her the Lancaster. I've been very fortunate to be in the aircraft a couple times and fly to Buffalo, New York, where we've seen Fifi. So I've been more than blessed from the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum in Hamilton, Ontario, one of the best places in the world. That's it. We're going to end the episode. This is hopefully you guys like that dive deep. The C-CAN physically is being picked up in Red Deer right now. Looks like the C-CAN is going to be arriving in Montreal. I just got word from the trucking company, 8 a.m. April 2nd. So that means Stella and I have a date to figure out how to get to Montreal. Ronnie's driving. Yeah, so these are just the last days in Yellowknife. And next time you see me will be tomorrow. It's Saturday tomorrow.
Yep.
So I don't even have an episode, but I have lots of content. Beach City Baby. Beach City Baby is looking for history. There's a lot of history we're doing today. Beach City Baby is looking for info on one of their pilots. So maybe we can help. More on that tomorrow. And Tammy, Jamie, you want to say the goodbye?
Bye, everybody.
See ya.